Peace, everyone. Today is July 1st, 2024, and this is my journal entry for today. I hope all is well with you all and you are all prospering and enjoying life at this moment. I am doing okay. It's been a minute since I put an episode out, and the truth is, there's really no excuse. I've just been, busy with life. Um, I've been working quite a bit, on my regular job, my position. You know, it 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 calls for me to be available to either be in the building or speak with people often. So even if I'm not at work, I'm on the phone with them. Even though the pay is rewarding, it's draining. It can be draining at times. I think the most draining part about my job is employee disputes that are hard to solve. With businesses, when it comes to be having employees up under you, there's a lot of legalities, so you have to be careful with how you operate with them. And when they get to bickering, you got to be careful how you handle it. So, um, this morning when I go to work, I have to call a meeting about some of the my coworkers. I like to call them coworkers, even though technically I'm their boss. I still work along with them. It's weird because I don't view myself, and I know I should. I just don't. I don't view myself as a boss, or one that tells people what to do. Or I just feel like I work alongside of them. Yes, I do make a lot of decisions. Yes, I do have to delegate. Yes, I do have to make decisions or hand out any disciplinary actions. But um, at the end of the day, I feel like it takes a village. That's just my thinking when it comes to managing and running. And of course, to me that's a good thing, but it's not always a good thing either because whenever you know whenever whenever how can I word it? I'm naturally a nice person, so I try to operate that way. Now, look, I can be mean, but I'm self-aware enough to know that once I go there, it can go bad. So I always try to remain level-headed at work. But unfortunately, since I don't lead based off of fear and more off of, working together and respect, it's always somebody that's going to try you. So I have to be careful with my responses because, you know, I'm still human. And sometimes when people try you, they might spark, a little anger, or they might spark me to be a little bit more nippy. So, I always try to, sometimes I won't respond right away. I'll take a few hours or a day, or I'll take a deep breath, and think before, I respond. I think I get the most pushback from adult males and young females. Those are the ones that give me the pushback the most. It's the real. It depends. Some, some of them sometimes it'd be like really young females. They could push back a lot. But I just attribute that to their age. So I don't give them grace, but I give them grace. I understand. So when I speak to them, I just kind of stick to my guns. I don't let the pushiness, I don't let them bully me. But I understand because I was that age. So, what I do is I try to lead by example. Now, I will say that most of them do respect me because they know me as Jazz the Medium. So I think that my community name kind of gets me some of the respect. And a lot of them, I've read. So that helps. Men don't care. They just, some men, now there's a lot of guys I work with, they're great, but some men they just don't want a woman telling them what to do. You know, I noticed that it's more prominent from men that are from other countries. They don't feel comfortable being led by a female, and I understand that it's cultural. And I just respect it, and I just try to stay respectful. There's one in particular boy. He get up under your skin. He's so good with words, and his insults be so fluid. I be like, ooh, for the first few times, it don't hit me till later, like, cause I'm a later person. I'll think about what he said later, and I'll be like, man, this man just insulted me. But now that I've learned to, when I speak to people that I work with, my intention is to listen. And when you set an intention to do something and you do it, you hear what you need to hear, you get the answer you need to get. And what I learned about the gentleman is that it's not personal. You know, he is from a culture where men are predominantly in leadership, but unfortunately, he's in a career field where women are predominantly in leadership. I think there are more female nurses than there are male nurses. So more than likely, your boss is going to be a woman. So, but it's cool. I don't take it personal. That man don't know me. Another thing I get is the old women. Now, when I say the old women, these are when the old women I struggle with are the women that knew me before I stepped into management. They're the ones that knew me when I first came in and I was working the floor, and then I became a supervisor, and then I became a manager, and then I became a director. And they just like, look, I used to tell you what to do. You ain't about to be up here telling me what to do. Um, I don't give them as much grace because I feel like they know better. That's not gonna hold you. I don't give them as much grace because I feel like they know better. I had one lady, sweet as pie. Oh gosh, I love her. But one thing about healthcare is that you gotta document. Documentation will save your butt. And this lady just refused. She's like, look, I ain't doing it. And she told me to my face she wasn't doing it. And I'm like, oh, uh-uh. So that one had to be a little bit more snippy, and I hated it because she's like so sweet, but like you're not gonna say and tell me that you're not gonna document it. Documentation is a requirement from the government, from the Ohio Department of Health, yeah, from any Department of Health, anything, any governing body that regulates your healthcare facility. If they come in to audit or to look at anything, they're asking for documentation. I can't supply it if y'all not doing it, and I'm gonna cover my butt. You know what I mean? So I think a lot of times when they come to work and they be going through stuff, they don't understand that I have a job to do, and I have a facility to cover, and an operation and a business to run. And lack of documentation can get your facility shut down. Shut down. And you don't want a federal survey. I had one and I'm still recovering. Okay. So I believe in doing what's right. Mentally and emotionally, I'm kind of all over the place right now. What I am learning about life is that it's okay to be all over the place sometimes. As long as you're not staying there and you're not pulling others with you. It's okay to be um it's okay to be a mess sometimes. There are a lot of lessons. And it's funny because when you step back and you look into those messy parts of your life, there's so much beauty in it, in that chaos. There's so many lessons learned in that chaos. And the wisdom that I'm gaining as I age as a woman, um, a lot of the most beautiful lessons that I've learned were always centered in chaos. And those times when I was a mess. Yesterday morning, I went to this beautiful healing circle. It's weird because I had asked for it. I knew when you're self-aware, when you get to know yourself, you know when you're going to step into some troubled waters, whether it be emotionally, mentally, or what's going on. And with me, it's a little bit of everything. Y'all know I've been doing this podcast for 2 years, and one thing I always worry about is money. And I'm gonna tell y'all why I have no reason to worry about money, but I still worry about it. And I think it's because I've spent so many years in survival mode. I don't know how not to be in survival mode. Like here I am making six figures and I'm looking for a second job. I just don't like to feel like I'm struggling. I can't. So anyhow, I went to this healing circle yesterday. I asked for it spiritually. And the crazy thing is the person that offered it's a woman. Shout out to LaKimsa, somebody that I always desired to be closer to her, but we just never got together. I just always felt like I could learn something from her. I have never past this woman not one time, and she didn't inspire me. But one thing I learned about LaKenta is that she is very intentional in her speaking. And if she doesn't have anything to say, she don't have anything to say. One thing I learned about people is that we tend to waste a lot of time talking about nothing, and then when some people do talk, it's all negativity, it's all bashing, it's all this or that. And one thing I've learned from her is that she has not one time neglected to feed my soul when I have talked to her. Not one time. And I was sitting here thinking about, you know, how can I inspire other women? And she just crossed my mind because she always gonna have a word, or when she does open her mouth, and when you do speak to her, you can tell, because when you talk to her and she's listening to you, you can tell that she is thinking to formulate the right words to say to you. She's just not talking out the side of her mouth. So she's always, I have never walked away from her without any wisdom. And that goes for anybody that she ever talks to. And I feel like that is an example that I desire to be. Even though I do inspire people all the time. I'm not taking that away from myself. But I do a lot of side talking, joking, and he and ha and around, which is okay. But I wish, I desire to be more inspiring to people, especially other women. And I say that because I'm a woman, of course. I love us. Okay? I love women. I love us. So my passion is women, but I help a lot of males too. You know what I mean? The second thing I also love is a male that is just inspired to change. And some of the males that I speak with, they want what's best for themselves. They want what's best for their families, and they're just putting in the work to just to be be better versions of themselves. And I love that. So the healing circle went amazing. I didn't expect to cry. I'm not a crier, guys. I do not show emotion around a lot of people. So people that know me very well, when I do become emotional, which is not often, they don't know what to do with me when I'm emotional. So usually you get a lot of awkward looks if I become emotional. So I opt not to be emotional around people. So most of my crying is done alone, which means I usually don't have anybody to hug. And yesterday, sitting in that circle with LaKenta, and there's a few of us, the tears got to dropping because when she was sharing some of her personal experiences, which I greatly appreciate that for her, because from feeling in her energy, I can tell that, she will share, but she ain't about to share with everybody. So I appreciate her taking that moment to share, but she was so relatable. It was just like, I felt like she was telling my life. I was just like, I wanted to call her twin right there, like, twin, where have you been? But the way she's handling it is just so beautiful. She's just kind of nestling in this moment that she's in her life. And I'm here running around. I done re-signed up for therapy, my first session today. I'm about to burn the damn building down. And she's like, you know what? I'm gonna ride this out. And I'm gonna work on me and do some me work. It was just inspiring. And she gave me a hug. And usually I'm the hugger. I'm uncomfortable with being a huggy. But I was a huggy yesterday. And that was the best hug I've had in a long time. And I sobbed like a baby. And I wasn't embarrassed because the circle was small and I knew everybody in the circle already. They know me. They knew me so I felt comfortable with the people that were there to kind of let my tears rip. So I'm happy that I had that. So I'm gonna go again next Sunday. I'm very thankful for that space. And we stretched, which I know I don't hardly stretch enough, but I woke up this morning and listened to the same meditation that we listened to. I'm about to do my stretches and head off to work so I can. Haven't watered my plants in 2 days because they're in my office. I'm gonna go see my plants and talk to my plants. But anyhow, yeah, I always gotta give y'all a little personal tea. So Me and the boo, we're good still. We have been going good. So maybe it's going on a month now. Um, I was talking to him and his car engine went out on his car. And we were just chatting and we was like, you know what, we need to make some changes. And he was like, yeah. He was like, you know what? I need more work. And I guess the work that he's doing up where he's from, it was okay. But he was just like, he wanted something different. And it's funny because one issue that we have is that he doesn't always do what he says he's going to do. And I think the reason why it bothers me is because I struggle with the same thing. So here I am calling him out for some stuff that I be doing. Don't judge me, okay? But anyhow, I was on the phone with him. It was like a Friday. And I was like, you know what? Why don't you just come down here? You done said 100 times you was coming down. We done set dates and you never come. So I was like, just why don't you just come down here? I said, get you a job down here. We're about at our year mark. Get you a job down here, and and then whenever you have to work up in Cleveland, which he still has to do work every other weekend, he has to go up there to work. Just drive up there to work. I said, I know your engine went out. I said, but I got a car. We can just help each other out. You know what I'm saying? This is what I mean by speaking with intention. My intention was to be of service and was to help him, but I wasn't expecting what came on the back end of that. I'm thinking like, oh, he gonna call my bluff, but that's what I get because again, even though my intention was to be helpful, I was talking out the side of my butt because he is a very strong-minded person. Yes, he listens to me, but if he doesn't feel it aligns with him, he ain't gonna do it. He don't care what you say. That's one thing I do like about him. He is himself apologetically. He's always very respectful, but he gonna do. He'll listen to you, hear you out. He'll even write it down and go over it with you. But if it doesn't align with him, he won't do it. And I like that. And a lot of the sometimes he be right. Me and my crazy ideas, but so he was like, all right, come get me Thursday. I'm thinking that, hey, look, I ain't thinking nothing of it. So here come Tuesday. I said, what you doing? He was like, packing. I said, for what? He was like, you're coming Thursday, right? I'm like, yes. Remind y'all, he did this before, had me clean my trunk out. Drove all the way over there, and he ain't even come and put nothing in the trunk. So I'm like, you know what? I ain't doing this with you no more. So I just didn't think nothing of it. Thursday, I head on up. I take the day off of work, drive on up to Cleveland, and I go pick him up. When I get up there, he was like, can you come up and give me a hand? I'm like, sure. I go up there. All his stuff is packed. I said, oh, wait, we serious? Wait, I don't have a plan. We serious. So even though a part of me was like, yes, because I always miss him so much when we go. It's like, I have a best friend. I got to say that. I got two close friends that I grew up with all my life. But me and him, when we together, we like best friends. We just be laughing, we be vibing, we be kicking it. We just cool. You know what I mean? We're even though we have a great relationship, we're more friends than like a couple. You know what I'm saying? Like our relationship is not based on sex or nothing like that. We just have a friendship. We just get along so well. I mean, don't get me wrong, it's good now. But that's not what it's about. Anyhow, I go up to pick him up. He got all his stuff. I'm like, oh, that shit real. What am I going to do? Because I've lived by myself for years now. Me and my ex broke up in 2017. So I've become accustomed to like being alone. Matter of fact, I enjoy it. I enjoy my solitude. So he comes down. I'm like, okay, well, we can go over here, apply for this. I'm keep making all these plans. That man ain't even thinking about me. He had a plan before he came. He already knew where he was going to apply before he came. It wasn't nowhere I sent him. So he went. He took, I think, my son with him or my brother, one of them. He went, applied for the job, got the job. This is all within a week. He started. Let me see. He came down Thursday, applied for the job Monday, started Wednesday. Come the following week, they liked his work ethic so much. They had him take a test. He passed the test, and they gave him like a $4 or $5 an hour raise on the hour. And he hadn't even been down here 2 weeks yet. Came down here working. We had to go to Cleveland together one of those weekends so he could finish up his work up there. Came back down. Never been late. Don't miss a day. Baby, the man had a toothache. When I said his face was swollen, he looked like Louis Armstrong playing the daggone Trump horn, whatever he played. When he be blowing them cheeks real big, that's how his face looked, and that man still got up and went to work in agony. I took him to the ER. We got some pain medicine just so we could find a dentist for him. We got, and they don't give you nothing but ibuprofen and Tylenol. And I got him started on his antibiotics, and I explained to him like it's gonna take 2 or 3 days for them to really kick in for you to feel better. And this man still went to work every single day, didn't miss a day. Even had a fever from the toothache and did not miss a day. And I'm like, maybe you should take off, stay home. You need to rest. This man got up and went to work. He couldn't eat, so we had to go buy a whole bunch of soup and things that he could drink because he couldn't really chew because his mouth was so painful. And he still got up and went to work. So one day I come home from work and I sit down. I'm usually when I sit down, shout out to Saran T and K. I've been budgeting, so I've been writing down how much I'm spending because money is just, yeah, my money just, I don't know. But anyhow, he sat down with me and did a budget. We talked about how much we would save because we have a savings thing together that we did to travel with. So he talked to me about how much he was gonna put in there. I already having a certain amount coming out of every check that goes in there. He talked about how much we're gonna put in that account. And then we talked about how much we're gonna put away in our own personal savings. And then we talked about the bills and how we would break the bills down. I've never had that situation happen. Usually a man come and be like, how much I need to give you? And I say this much and they just give it to me. And with my ex, he still gave me what the hell he want. How much you want? Gas and electric bill $457. Okay, here goes 200. Figure it out, And with him, it's like no. So I have extra people staying with me right now, and my water bill is higher. My gas electric bill is higher, and I'm just like so temperamental. I've been spazzing, going off on people, and that's not in my character. And I just think it's because that's why I went back. I got some other things going on, and I'm starting to lash out. So I know it. I'm aware of it, and I need to hone it back in. But first, I had to stop being mad at myself for doing it, and then once I stopped being mad at myself because we're human, I need to hone it back in. But he looked me dead in the face, and he was like, "Why didn't you tell me your bill was high?" And I didn't know why I didn't tell him. I just used to do handling things for myself, and he was like, "There are two of us now. You know that, right?" So it's it's been good. It's all about me becoming accustomed. He had to go to Cleveland over the weekend. I opted to stay home. I do feel like time apart is important, and I enjoyed my weekend. I went to the Healing Circle. I went to a wedding on Saturday. I relaxed. I sat in my room and watched TV, which I don't do often, and talked to myself. I cooked for myself. I made me some waffles and some bacon, and then last night I made dinner. I made a pot roast, mashed potatoes, some fried corn, cornbread, a whole bunch of other stuff. I didn't eat the cornbread. Whenever I make like potatoes or mashed potatoes, I won't make a cornbread, but he wanted some, so I made him some. And that was it. So I am becoming accustomed to cohabitating again, and it's going good so far. Um I always try to communicate ahead of time. Like just so I always sit down and talk to him. Like if I feel like something's an issue, I always try to bring it to his attention. And what I try to encourage him to do is not hold things, because people, and we do it. You know, have you ever, somebody did something you don't like, and you kind of let it slap, then when you get mad, all that shit come out. I am practicing, if there's a problem, I just handle it right there. I'm not waiting. I'm not holding stuff in. So I encourage him to do it the same. And he's becoming better with expressing himself. Um, but I can tell too. I'm starting to attract a lot of people that, well, he's always been. He's very intentional on what he say. So if you ask him something, he'll think about it for a minute. And I notice that I don't always get an answer right away. But one thing I learned is that I don't always need an answer right away. I mean, I got PTSD. Would I rather somebody yell at me in that moment, or would I rather give them a little bit to, to respond or to speak to me about something respectfully? So those are things that I keep in mind. So sometimes it might take him a little minute to respond to something. And I think it's because he's trying to find his wording, or he's more intentional with the way he expresses himself. And I think he's naturally like that, because he used to have a very horrible temper. And I think part of his growing as a man over the years, he's learned to communicate differently, which is fine with me. I'm here for it all. I'm learning how to communicate differently too, because I'm an old school hothead too. I'm gonna cut up your clothes, bleach your clothes, break your shit, bust your windows, put sugar in your gas tank. Yep, yeah, I was terrible, y'all. Um, but I feel like once you age, all that stuff isn't necessarily worth it. Just the last thing I want to share is that my 20-year-old son, he got accepted into college up in Toledo. I'm proud of him. Um, my 24-year-old son called me, and I struggle with this, but it's more of a me thing. And he said, I'm going to send for my brother. He's going to come stay with me for a month. He's going to work here with me for a month, and I'm going to work him out. We're going to be, I'm going to condition him. I think I've told all of y'all, my oldest son graduated from college. He's got a master's degree, and he's getting ready to go overseas and play basketball soon. So I don't know what team yet. He hasn't shared it yet. I don't know if he's even picked, but he's got several. He's got a lot of options. So I'm proud of him. But he called me and he was like, you know what, I'm gonna take over. He was like, what's the coach number? He called my son's college coach. So then he called me back, and this is what got me. He was like, okay, I talked to the college coach. I got everything down packed as far as money goes, because I'm the ATM. This is what you'll need to pay, which I don't know how I'm gonna pay it. I'm just gonna leave it to the universe, because it's yeah. Ooh, child. I don't know. But you know what? That's why I make six figures and I'm out here looking for a second job, because I'm willing to do whatever it takes just to get him started. But I did tell him, I said, once you get up there and you get to working, you're on your own. I'm gonna get you there, but we adulting now, you're on your own. If you really need me, I'll send you something. I'll send food, but I'm not paying all your bills. I can't. I don't have the capacity to. I love you, but you're an adult and you've been adulting for a while. You got a whole girlfriend. You can, he can do it. Hell, I did it. But my son took over and he was like, yeah, I told his coach not to call you unless it's about money. His coach is gonna call me for any problems he had with Ty, or any school stuff, any grade stuff. And at first I was appalled. I'm like, wait, I'm his mama. Like, how dare you just step in and think you're gonna take over? So you trying to say that I'm not a good parent? I took it super personal, y'all. Listen here. I was like, yeah, you trying to say I'm not a good parent? I'm a bad parent. I don't do my job. So now you trying to take over? My son was like, no. I just feel that you overwhelmed. You already doing too much. So you can't necessarily give him the attention that he needs. And I'm here to help you. So he was like, I have been through college. I know how all this stuff works. I know how work study works. I know how the process works. I'm going to teach him how to set his schedule and get a job according to his schedule and find things to do on the campus to make extra money, mom. Okay. So I was like, okay. And he was like, you worry about my sister because my daughter, of course, she's young with two children, and she was like, "Mom, that's your area. You've done that. You raised us all when we were younger. You know how to help people with children, so I'm gonna leave that to you. Let me handle my brother." And I had to check myself because I do not know how to receive help. I struggle with that. And I think what God is showing me right now is that it's okay to allow people to come in and help you. It's okay to receive a hug. It's okay to ask for money when you ain't got it. It's okay to allow somebody to help you pay bills. It's okay to allow somebody to send you food or go buy food. It is okay to allow somebody to help you with your children. It is okay. That doesn't make you any more or less than who you are or what you do, especially if you're putting in 100% effort and things are just not working out, which I feel like this is my situation. But it's okay. I am going to pick up a second job for a little while, but I know it can't be long because I just don't have the capacity to work two and three jobs no more like I used to. I have worked more than one job most of my life, and I promised myself after 2019 that I wasn't going to do it unless it was absolutely necessary. Because my son is going to college, I feel like it's absolutely necessary. But the moment I get where I can get out of that, I will. And also, I called his father too. I'm like, look, bruh, help me, my guy. He says he will help, and I'm just gonna be hopeful that he will and take his word for it. And if he doesn't, it's okay. Shit, he hasn't. But if he does, I am so thankful. I have to give people grace and understand people change over the years. This was the first good conversation I had with him. Usually when last time I called this man and asked him for money, he said, I paid child support. I don't know why they're not paying you. Cause he got me and another girl that he has children with. And for some reason when he's working, she always get her payments, but I don't. I don't understand what happens. It's like I have to call them and be like, hey, he working. Y'all sending her child support, y'all not sending me. But since my son has been an adult, I just haven't called. And honestly, I don't know whether I should. I don't care. I mean, I don't want to go down because I feel like, and yes, he owes back pay. Yes, his payments will help because I still help my son. He's not completely on his own yet. But at the end of the day, sometimes I feel like it's not worth the stress that I have to go to argue with this person. I had a very toxic, abusive relationship, and that's in the past. So sometimes, speaking to him, it brings up a lot of old wounds. But I know I'm healing because I'm able to talk to him. So it's gotten better. We had a very good conversation. Usually he'll be like, it's not my problem. I don't care if they don't take it out of my child support. I don't care. I'm not giving you shit. That's usually what he tell me. But this time he was like, you know what? I'm working. I got a pretty good job. I'm sorry they're not taking child support out and sending it to you. You can either call them. He said this shit. I was shocked. He was like, or let me know what you need and I'll try my best to get you what I can. I was thankful. Like, you know what? Thank you. My son's in California right now. My oldest son was like, you know what? I'm accustomed to feed myself. I need a little help with food. So I'm going to call his dad today and be like, hey, can we both put in some change together just to send them every week so that they can, have money to eat until Ty start working? Then my oldest son said that he'll sit down with them and teach him how to budget his money out and spread his money out because my oldest son, he went to school on a full scholarship and I couldn't necessarily afford to send him a whole bunch of money all the time. So, he I'm proud of that boy. He figured it out. He started working. He started door dashing whenever he was off. He had friends that helped him. So along with me, his coaches, his friends, he created a community around himself. And he went out there and worked his butt off to, bring in money to and maintain the dean's list, high GPA, and graduated college with a master's degree. And he's getting ready to go on to live his life and career. And now he's considering, settling down and having children. And I had this boy when I was 17. And I'm just proud because it could have went so left. His father wasn't always as present as he should have been, but his father, he still knew his father, but his father's family, his grandfather and his great grandmother, and he's got aunts and uncles, they were very they were very supportive of him. They picked him up. They took him out of town with them. He even lived with his grandmother for a little while I was out here being the damn knucklehead. He lived with her. His coach, some of his coaches, shout out to Nigel, but some of his coaches, um, Sammy and all of them, he had a lot of coaches and mentors along the way that helped him out. And I'm not leaving no names out because there's a lot of them that literally helped groom him into the man that he is today. That's the importance of community. So I applaud a lot of these men that are out here in the community helping youth. Y'all really make a difference. So I'm thankful for that. Look, I'm 5 minutes over and I gotta go to work. I love y'all. I have to go. So hopefully I'll put another entry out tomorrow. So don't forget to love on yourselves. I haven't been as much as I should have. But it starts back up. Love on yourselves every day. Forgive yourselves. Apologize to yourself. And you know what? LaKenta said something yesterday. She said, I had to learn how to accept my own apology. I said, damn, I ain't never thought to say, Jazz, I accept your apology. Have you accepted your own apology? Have you apologized to yourself and accepted your own apology? Because once you accept your own apology, you can remove yourself from whatever cycle you're in that's causing you to feel however you're feeling, especially towards yourself. Have you forgiven yourself? Maybe we'll talk about that another day. But I hope everything continues to be great. I hope your day, continues to be great. Peace.